Georgia, Alabama. Sports Live will be your go-to for all your favorite high school and collegiate games this fall. From the Carver Tigers to the Columbus Blue Devils, the Harris County Tigers and Northside Patriots, the Glenwood Gators and Calvary Christian Knights, the Pacelli Vikings and Brookstone Cougars, to the Smith Station Panthers and Russell County Warriors, from CVCC Pirates basketball and baseball and every tournament from here to Macon. We are the #1 destination for anything happening in East Alabama and West Central Georgia. Be sure to like and follow us on YouTube and Facebook, and stay tuned for even more amazing ways we will be bringing Georgia, Alabama Sports Live to you this upcoming season. We can't wait to come see you next.
Look at you. Look at you. I've been normally just having a conversation, Coach. Yep.
Welcome in, everyone, to a special edition of Georgia, Alabama Sports Live. So Smith Station had an opening, and we've known that for many months. They had someone that just didn't work out, and so the opening came back up again, and now they found their man. And I think, in my opinion, this is a home run hire. When talking with new athletic director Brian Eason, who I look forward to having on here on Georgia, Alabama Sports Live in the future, he agreed with me this is a home run hire. And I'd like to introduce everyone to the Georgia, Alabama Sports Live audience, the new head football coach of Smith Station, Blair Harrison. Blair, congratulations, man.
Thank you, Thrift. Appreciate it.
All right, Coach, let's first start. We're going to go in many avenues. It's going to be a kind of a two-part interview with my good friend Blair Harrison. Let's first start, why now? Why was this opportunity the one you wanted to take?
Well, I feel like I can help. I feel like that I fit the description of what they need to be successful at the level that they play. We love the area. We didn't want to move, but I wanted to coach again. Yeah. I've had a couple of years off. I've really enjoyed my time not coaching, but it's always been in me that I feel like this is football is why I'm where I am today.
Right.
And just giving back. I've won a lot of football games and coached in a lot of games and met some great people, but just to give these kids the feelings and the memories that I have from football, give them the opportunity to take that with them the rest of their lives. That's kind of why.
All right, Coach. We're going to go kind of in the back history for those who don't know who Blair Harrison is. He's the winningest coach in Brookstone history. He's a 3-time region coach of the year. He had a dominant program. We didn't even lose a region game during that 3-year stretch. He came back and did another stint in Brookstone and had a great time as well. And by the way, this is all before Brookstone joined the GIAA. And if they had and not been in the GHSA, which we know how tough that is, he probably had 3 or 4 rings on top of it as well, because he had some dominant teams in that past. You also had a 10-year stretch. You were in Tennessee as well. You've coached all-star games. You're the board of directors for this Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame. Am I leaving anything else off your resume, Coach?
No. That's you're being too kind. But I've been in it a long time. I guess that's what that says.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been doing this a while, but really proud of the things I've accomplished. Really proud of the people that I've worked with and the lives I've touched, and just glad to be back on the football field again.
Yeah, so let's go back to that original point you just made about getting that itch. So it's something me and you have talked about for the last 3 years since you became the AD. So let's kind of paint the picture. You moved on from Brookstone, and you were going to decide you were going to be an assistant coach under Coach Pellegrino at Shaw. Coach Pellegrino, we all know, had passed away. Terrible circumstances at Shaw. You stepped in as an interim, took Shaw to the playoffs, and you also interim AD, and you decided to take a step back from coaching and be AD only. Talk about what that meant to you, taking a step back. Why did you take a step back in that moment, and how were the last 3 years like being athletic director at Shaw?
Well, I felt like that they needed me at the time, and Dr. Hendrick asked, and I will do anything for her.
Right.
That's the principal at Shaw. But when I got into it, I felt like they needed somebody else running the team, and it just, under the circumstances that everything happened, I just felt like they needed a fresh start. And I went to Dr. Hendrick, and I pitched my sell on what my thoughts were, right. and I thought it was the best thing for Shaw and the best thing for the football program. And I think that it all turned out the way I thought. That I planned. Coach Garner's doing a heck of a job. He's growing the program. He's got a great staff. We supported him 100%.
Yep.
And then, being the athletic director, after you get into that role and you keep on, all the paperwork and the desk stuff, I just missed being around the kids and building the relationships. And I really, I learned that a little bit when I was the interim coach, because I just coached offense, and I didn't really get to know the defensive guys as well as I'd like to. And so just missing the relationships, wanting to be back in it, giving back, that's kind of why I stepped away. I feel like that, at the end of my career, I'll be glad to be someone's athletic director and help them kind of build programs like I've done at Shaw. But right now I'm ready to help, the football program at Smith Station.
Well, also naming the softball field after Debbie Ball, that was something that you had an instrumental part in. And now we want to talk about renaming the complex, all of Shaw Complex, to Charles Flowers Complex. I know that's one of your big missions before moving on to this job.
Yes.
Is making sure that happens.
Yeah, we're set to break ground, either this week or next week on some of the parts of that project. I really want to I want to see that through. I know Jeff Battles is going to make sure that happens as well, and I definitely want to be there the day we dedicate the facilities to Dr. Flowers. But he is he's done so much for Columbus and Shaw High School and bringing attention to the area and building coaches. And I mean, just everything that he's done. I mean, I just felt like, we needed to do something for him. And so I'm proud of that. Very proud.
And again, we're going to get into Smith Station, this school, what it means to him to take it. But again, I want to make sure that we do justice the opportunity you had at Shaw. And I do want to talk about Jeff Battles, because you have an incredible relationship with him. I know he fully supports you taking on this endeavor. He knows you want to coach. Talk about your relationship with him and allowing you to grow not only as an AD, but growing all the sports and knowing how important that is to a school.
Well, I can't say enough about Jeff. Jeff has been a great mentor to me as an athletic director. I think that we grew a great relationship when we coached against each other, but stepping out and being an administrator, he is the number one guy that I've ever been around, that knows how to handle almost every situation. He's a great resource. He's phenomenal athletic director. Anybody would. Muskogee County is just so lucky to have him.
Yeah.
He works hard. He'll paint a field. He'll pick up what he needs, deliver it to you. I mean, just unbelievable. Get you stuff that you need. I mean, you can't ask for anything better. And he has become a good friend of mine. And he does support me, but I support him too, and I appreciate everything he's done for me. But he's just a great person.
You're leaving Shaw Athletics in a better place than when you got there, Coach. I know that was a big thing. You just hired Christopher Horton, an alumni. You got Johnny Gardner, rising star in football. Howie Shackelford's done a great job. You got Charlie Marquand. I know I'm leaving off several other coaches, but is there anybody else you want to kind of shout out to and thank while you're time at Shaw?
Yeah, I mean, of course, there's a lot of coaches that we can't mention them all, but Javion Fluellen has built the track program back to a dynasty and to a powerhouse. So
they had a great job at the city championships.
Yeah, girls won the city championship, boys got second. I mean, that wasn't even a possibility 3 years ago. So he's done a great job. We're getting better in volleyball. I mean, we had a varsity tennis for the first time, and I don't even know, since I don't even win, probably since Jack was there. But they finished third in the region today, and the boys and girls finished third yesterday. So we've got a lot of great things going on. Our wrestling program's doing great. But, Dr. Hendrick, I'm trying not to get emotional, but like we've already cried it out, but she's a great lady. And she really gave me an opportunity, when I didn't really know what I was going to do. And she kind of took me under her wing. And then as an administrator under her, it's been a wonderful experience. She's got a great set of assistant principals that I love working with, but just the people at Shaw are great. They're passionate about what they do, and they've really done a good job of changing the culture over the last 3 years that I've been there. The culture has absolutely changed in the school. And the people, the community that don't know, I mean, it's a great place to be. I like going to work every day. But this is where I'm headed, and I have everybody I've met so far has been wonderful too, and so I really feel fortunate that I've had an opportunity and got and I'm getting the opportunity to be here.
I just met Brian Eason, who is the new athletic director over here at Smith Station. And as I made mention, he said it was a home run hire. First thing I said to him was, "You got a home run hire." He said, "Dude, I already knew that. He used to kick my butt when I was at Pacelli." So talk about your relationship with him. And did that have a big factor in taking on, which is, we'll get into it after the break, but I want to ask you this question first about the challenge it is to be at Smith Station and all the rivals that surround you and everything else. But I feel like him being here also accumulated for you taking this job. Is that right?
Yeah, he knows the groundwork. He knows what the challenges are, and he's got my back. And he wants Smith Station football to be successful, as well as the athletics. So we both understand how important it is for a school. But yeah, I mean, we go way back. We were basically rivals. But I think that it's important that people understand, and young coaches understand, that like, we were rivals with Pacelli, we were rivals with Muskogee County Schools, but we had a great relationship. You know, I didn't do anything I shouldn't be doing, and
Right.
and I coached my own kids, and we developed our kids, and I think that that's why I ended up in Muskogee County, because everyone respected
100%.
how I did my job, and I didn't have to go try to poach people's kids, or try to build a program from tear somebody else's down.
Yeah.
And I think that respect, and then us going against each other at Pacelli, and the respect that he had, knowing that I did it the right way,
Right.
and we did it the hard way, and so the friendship grew out of that, and we've just been in contact. And actually, he's been on me to try to come over here for about 10 years. So, he finally got it.
And look, and you're hearing right now the bell because they're still in school. And we are live from the field house inside the locker room, which is, again, we were talking about the major projects going to be coming here to the school in the near future. I'm sitting down with the new head football coach of the Smith Station Panthers. His name is Blair Harrison. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about his philosophy, his mindset, and some of the steps he's going to take forward to get Smith Station Panthers back to relevancy here on Georgia, Alabama Sports Live. Georgia, Alabama. Sports Live will be your go-to for all your favorite high school and collegiate games this fall. From the Carver Tigers to the Columbus Blue Devils, the Harris County Tigers and Northside Patriots, the Glenwood Gators and Calvary Christian Knights, the Pacelli Vikings and Brookstone Cougars, to the Smith Station Panthers and Russell County Warriors, from CVCC, Pirates basketball and baseball, and every tournament from here to Macon. We are the #1 destination for anything happening in East Alabama and West Central Georgia. Be sure to like and follow us on YouTube and Facebook, and stay tuned for even more amazing ways we will be bringing Georgia, Alabama Sports Live to you this upcoming season. We can't wait to come see you next. Football is back, and the only thing that makes it better is some delicious food from Zaxby's. They're a proud sponsor of Georgia, Alabama Sports Live. And I can tell you that everyone on this team loves their chicken. Get all the favorites, such as their signature chicken sandwich, or try the new chicken finger tacos with your favorite drink. From amazing salads, wings, chicken fingers, and some of the best drinks around, there isn't a better way to enjoy our broadcast without getting some fantastic meals from Zaxby's. Check out the two here in Phoenix City, one off Crawford Road and the other on US 80. Thank you again to Zaxby's for sponsoring Georgia, Alabama Sports Live. And make sure you call them for all your catering and tailgating needs this football season.
I like that'll
Welcome back, everyone, here to Smith Station High School. And I am sitting down with the new head football coach, Blair Harrison of Smith Station. Coach Harrison, now it's time. Let's talk about the philosophy. So I know you probably talked with Coach Eason on what your mindset is on how to get this program back. They haven't made the playoffs since 2015. They haven't beaten Central since 2008. But even more than anything, they haven't had a season in which they were just competitive in quite some time. And I know Smith Station, which is a huge community, is just craving for that. If you've been to a Smith Station game, they still come out in full support, even if the team is not very good. So what is the mindset What is the philosophy to try to change things around here at Smith Station?
Well, I'm obviously got to do something different.
Right.
The one thing that I would say that sticks out to me is that I don't care about how many years they've been to the playoffs. I
Right.
don't care about Central. I don't care about Auburn. And I don't mean that disrespectful. We got to worry about ourselves. We
Mhm.
got stuff to fix here.
Mhm.
And then I feel like if you start doing things the right way, that more competitiveness will come.
Right.
But every job that I've taken over that needed rebuilding, we had state champions in the region. We didn't win any, they didn't win any games. Coaches were, we didn't have enough coaches. We had to rebuild staffs. So a lot of the same characteristics are here at Smith Station. So my philosophy is going to be the same as it's been, everywhere I've gone. I'm going to outwork somebody. I'm going to be better prepared.
Mhm.
We're going to get the best people around these kids. We're going to raise them right. We're going to treat them right, and we got to keep them at Smith Station. But if I just do the right things, you know, uh, Adam Johnson, the principal, he said, we just want to get better, and I just want to see improvement.
Right.
Well, I have no doubt that we're going to be improved.
Yeah.
But I mean, and I don't even mean it because they're 0-10.
Right.
I think that we might be 0-10, but we'll be improved. But hopefully we can win some games, which will validate all the hard work that we're going to have to put in to do
Right.
that. But I think that you can't look past the next day. You can't worry about the stars of the players in front of you. You can't worry about rankings, and you can't worry about past points scored or points given up.
Yeah.
You got to come in here and do it your way, which is my way,
Yeah.
and everybody's got to get on board.
Yeah.
And if they do that, I think things will change. But that's the $1 million question. There's always people on both sides of it. But the people that I have touched throughout my career, and it's obvious by the just social media nowadays. I mean, I've been around so long that things have changed.
Yeah.
But I mean, just the people that I've coached that I haven't heard from in years
Awesome.
that are seeing that I'm coaching again are just excited for us and excited for Smith Station, and it really makes me feel good. And because when you put all that time in, sometimes it goes so fast that you don't even get to enjoy the relationships you made and the memories that you built because you're on to the next one and
Right.
the next one. So I'm going to try to slow it down a little bit, try to enjoy this more than I have the past years at other schools because I was just so driven to get to that next year.
Right.
But I think these guys are they're starving so much for success that
Yes.
it's going to be so much fun just to see it in their faces when we do something that nobody expected us to do.
Coach, when someone asks you, and I know you're going to get it all the time, what is a Blair Harrison coach football team going to look like? Now, you don't have to get in offensive schemes and stuff. I'm just talking about overall culture-wise. What is your team going to look like?
There is no question I can answer that.
Go ahead.
We're going to play hard. We're going to be disciplined. We're going to know what we're doing. We're going to execute. And when the other team walks off the field, win or lose, they're going to know that they've been in a football game. So and if we can do that, good things are going to happen to us.
Well, Coach, we are excited about this upcoming opportunity. Now, I know it's only been a couple days. It's going to be a whirlwind, and it's crazy that this news, it gets dropped in the middle of the Clingstone's opening day that we were live, which is funny. So being DJ, we're doing our live hit yesterday for Sports Visions at the Clingstone game, and I look at my phone, and I'm like, well, Smith Station's got their guy. Let me go ahead and get on the phone and call my good friend Blair Harrison and able to set up this interview. I want to say thank you so much for allowing us to be one of the first people you talked to, Coach. I've been in your corner since the first time we met and got to know each other. And I am so excited because I know the potential of Smith Station. I know the potential of this community. And they have the right guy, which I think they do. I think that good things are going to happen. But, Coach, what about staff? What are the next steps moving forward with you as you try to collect yourself and stuff?
Well, of course, we're not in a good position because we're getting into May and coaches have signed contracts and kind of made up their minds that they were staying where they were staying. But I talked to the guys that are still here today. I mean, had great conversations, great guys. So we've got 4 or 5 that are going to stay with us. I'm going to try to pick up some of my guys from Columbus, but again, it's hard right now to try to get somebody to make a change. So the staff is, and then I told them that's in the interview process. That's the number one obstacle of this, because the football side of it, I feel like I can handle,
Right.
but I can't handle a program of this magnitude by myself. So we've got to, we're going to start posting for jobs today. We've got some jobs in the building for people that if they want to be at a great place. I mean, the very competitive wages. I mean, we're going to build something here. So if you want to be a part of something, that's going to happen, this is, hit me up.
Yeah.
But we need coaches, and we need good coaches. So if we can get that, and it might take me a couple of years to get all the spots filled. I mean,
Right.
I'm not going to just get people in here just to hold a spot.
Right.
So we're going to have to get the right people, because again, we've got to do something different.
Yeah.
And I'm planning on doing that. So status quo is not going to be our objective.
Right. Strength and conditioning.
Mhm.
That's a big thing for you.
Yes.
You love strength and conditioning. You did weight training while you were at Shaw. You were in charge of all that at Brookstone. Do you plan on having a hands-on effect here at Smith Station, man?
Well, I really feel like those guys have evolved so much that you really need a guy that thinks about speed and strength all day long
Right.
in recovery.
Right.
Because I'm doing other things for the team. So as of right now, yeah, I mean, I've already changed the pattern of how they're going to lift, and they will implement that here. Would love to have a full-time strength guy, which
Awesome.
we kind of have already been trying to get. But again, it's the timing on, especially a strength guy, because they've already been working with guys since January.
Exactly.
So to get a good one to leave a group, because those guys are probably one of the most loyal in the business, because they're all about they know that their kids are getting stronger and they want to see them play.
Right.
So we're gonna, we've already talked about that. As soon as this season's over, we're gonna go attack a guy or two that I know that could make a difference here for all of our sports.
Right.
But that's definitely one of the things that I'd like to have here. But I mean, every day I'll be with them. I'll be in there. But we're going to lift different, and I think that you'll see a difference this year.
Coach, you got to talk to the team
Mhm.
earlier today, right? How was that meeting like and seeing the guys?
It was great. This room was packed. They were all locked in. You can just tell. I mean, they're ready for change, and they're ready to get started, and with somebody in place.
Right.
They've just as an athlete, you can work and work and work, but until you're working for somebody or working with the purpose of or can see the end,
Right.
or what the goals are, it's kind of gets old. You almost get comfortable, right? So we talked about getting uncomfortable this morning. We're gonna have to get them uncomfortable, and and it's not going to be easy. If football was easy, everybody would do it, right?
Exactly.
So I'm looking forward to that side of it, but getting somebody in here, and we do have some good coaches that understand and are really good, but
Right.
I'm talking about a guy that is just all locked into strength training.
Yeah.
So
Coach, I seen you at American Little League, and it's funny. I literally was there, I think last week, watching my girlfriend's son play, and Coach Harrison, you were on third base,
Yeah.
waving somebody around to score. You're actually going against Henry Howell, who's actually the principal headmaster at Brookstone. I thought it was just pretty funny, y'all going against each other, man. But I want you to talk about your family.
Okay.
Talk about your sons. Talk about your wife. What do they mean to you, and how awesome is it that they're supporting you on this endeavor, man?
Well, they sat through the board meeting last night, and I felt bad for my two boys, because you have to always bribe them with food. Well, it lasted a little bit longer than that they wanted to, so I knew, but they did a great job of hanging in there. But my oldest really wants to play football for me. He really wants me to be coaching again.
Awesome.
My youngest is going to be a heck of a football player, but he doesn't know it yet. So, but they've done it. Just they're behind me 100%. Of course, they miss going to Dad's office at
Yep.
Brookstone, and I miss that too. So maybe we can get back on the same campus eventually. But and Chrissy, my wife, she's ready to pack up. If I say we're packing up, she's got my back, and she's a great mom, and I couldn't do it without her. She does a great job raising them, and fortunately, a positive for this, the last 2 years I've had a little bit more family time.
Exactly. To coach Little League.
Coach
teams.
a Little League team, which I will, and I know this is it. I mean, Sunday, I was tired. We had practice. I didn't want to go. I got off my chair, whatever, from watching the Masters, and I came back home and told Chrissy, I said, God is good. And she said, why? I said, because Bruton hit his first home run, and I got to see it.
Awesome,
So
man.
that's a moment I'll never forget. And so just being a part of their lives these couple of years, I think that they're going to understand now what I really do, and when I'm gone all the time, what it takes to be successful. And I think that on the backside shows your boys how to be,
Yeah.
just by example. But they've been great, and I appreciate you bringing them up.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
I don't give them enough credit, but
No.
every good coach has a great person behind them,
Yeah.
buddy. I tell you.
You got to have
And
a great wife.
I got a great wife, and I actually have great in-laws too. I mean,
Awesome.
we got. She's got a split family, but her dad and his wife are great great fans, and they'll be at every game. And then her mom and stepfather will be at every game, and they're already hitting me up for gear. And I'm like, I'm not there yet,
Yeah, right.
but yeah, just talking about support. I mean, and then
That's
my
awesome.
parents up in Tennessee, they're a little old to travel, but they're on the phone wanting to know, did it go through? They've been there every step of the way. So, I mean, it's just been I've got a great support system, and of course, my family is a football family.
Yes.
My grandfather was a superintendent, but he was a superintendent that cared about athletics, so he's got a football field named after him. And
Oh, wow.
my brother signed with Kentucky out of high school, so he's a football guy. And my dad coached Little League and been mentioned in Sports Illustrated, and in Bill Bates' book, he coached Bill Bates, played for the Cowboys. So,
I'm glad you're bringing that up, Coach, because I want you to, and I didn't mean to interrupt,
Yep.
because I wish I would have asked this about where you from, and I'm guessing your granddad, your dad, are
Yeah.
they the biggest influences in your life that led you into coaching?
Well, they taught me the work ethic. They taught me the game. My grandfather would, even when he got to where he couldn't walk, they would let him drive up to the fence and park his car,
That's awesome.
and I'd play right out there. When I was little, while my brother played, and we watched my cousins, because we were from a small town. But
Right.
they kind of laid the groundwork. But I mean, I played for two legends up in Tennessee. I played for a guy named David Meskey, who's a retired Hall of Famer, and a guy named Clark Wormsley.
Okay.
And Clark Wormsley was my baseball coach, but offensive coordinator. We run the same offense we ran there, same numbers, we called plays the same.
Right.
Those guys really influenced me, because they came back and got me when I graduated to coach. So
Right.
I never really thought about coaching, but they saw something in me, and it's provided for my family for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they called me, so, but
That's awesome.
those are my biggest influences. I'm sure I've always looked up to my brother.
Right.
He's 10 years older, so he doesn't even really know how much I looked up to him. But, I always loved football, and always enjoyed playing it. So now, I'll enjoy giving back to him.
Well, even if your granddad didn't coach you, the leadership qualities, being a superintendent, it's a hard job,
Yeah.
by the way. And speaking of which, I do want to make mention the superintendent of Muskogee County. I know you want to thank Dr. David Lewis, a guy that's meant a lot to you, and you've gotten to know over the years.
Absolutely. And I really, I meant to reach out to him before it kind of went public, but it just got out of hand there the last couple of days, and I've been kind of bombarded. But Dr. Lewis I know he's invested in me and Shaw, and I really appreciate that. And
Right.
I appreciate everything he does for the whole MCSD
Yep.
community. I mean, heck of a guy, loves academics and athletics, and understands facilities, and has great people around him. I mean, just hats off to him. But I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Dr. Lewis giving me opportunity, at Shaw, and all the people that had a hand in that. But Muskogee County's been great to me. We'll continue to have a great relationship with them. It is different. I mean, I got to pinch myself. I'm in Alabama now.
Yeah.
So I mean,
So now you've coached in Tennessee, Georgia, and then add Alabama to it too as well.
Yep. And hopefully I'll win a playoff game here, which means I'll have won playoff games in 3 states.
That's
so
awesome, man.
So that's one of my goals, and and that's okay to put out there. We got to get there first, but that's a goal of mine, and anything that comes after that is just going to be even bonus.
A few more questions, Coach.
Okay.
You just mentioned goal. What's the goal in year one? Is it establishing a foundation, a culture, more than wins and losses, just guys understanding what it takes to be great, whether it be winning on the field, getting to the next level, whatever it is you're trying to establish here at Smith Station?
I think that you just got to set the example right up front of what it takes to be successful, hard work.
Right.
I really don't have a number on wins and losses
Right.
or points scored.
No.
I just think that if we do the right thing, we work hard, you hope that the wins come because the wins validate the work.
Right.
I've said that earlier, but we've got to be able to validate. Now, we can validate without winning when you cut a deficit or you almost win a game, when you haven't won a game in a while.
Right.
So you can kind of draw those conclusions to validate the hard work, but the W's are the ones that everybody that remembers, and so my goal would be to win as many games as we can.
Right.
But just to teach them how we do things, and if we don't have as much validation this year, we hope it builds for next year. And then I always say my program's compounding interest. I mean, we just get better as time goes by because I really don't do a lot of different stuff.
No.
So the next year when I start teaching the same thing, the guys have heard it. It's just they get better at it. They get stronger, and they figure out in the weight room what they need to be successful because they know what it's going to take. So it takes a lot. There's a lot of learning going on. So, but just laying the foundation, getting it out there, and seeing what happens is my goal.
Well, I can't wait for it, Coach. Coming up, you take on Shaw, which you cannot wait for. By the way, what a way to start off your coaching career is against a guy that you hired and a school that you used to coach at and was the AD literally last year. God works in mysterious ways, man. It's pretty funny how things all work out, doesn't it?
I was telling somebody yesterday. I said, it's kind of a, win-win. I helped build that team.
Yep.
And I'm building this team. So if we lose this year, I'm going to be, you got to be pulling for Johnny. I mean, he's a great guy and he deserves it. But of course, I want to win, and I'll feel bad for him. But and I'm sure he'll be happy for me on the back end. But sometimes in this business, you go up against friends and you have some history. And I remember coaching against Jeremy Williams. I mean, the guy could hardly talk at the end, but I still wanted to win. And we still tried to beat him, and he's tried to beat me, and we still loved each other. So it's the same thing with Johnny.
Yeah.
Johnny's done a great job at Shaw, and it's going to be a tough challenge. But Smith Station should be able to beat Shaw. I mean, that's be my message. I mean, we might not be able to do it, but we should be able to.
Yeah.
And so we're working towards that goal. That'll be one of our main, objectives.
I want you to look in this camera, and this is to Georgia Alabama Sports Live community, Smith Station community, everyone out there on why this new day, this new era under Blair Harrison, what they can expect when they come out to a game at what is the name of the stadium? TC Britton Field. There we go. Thank you. Richard Holtz is here to help me
I would
out.
have been able to tell you that one. I've been working next to his son for the last 3.5 years. So
Yeah, awesome.
Clinton Britton's,
Yeah.
But
the softball coach over
Yep.
there. So for you, this is your message to community on why they need to come out, support Smith Station Athletics, whether it be volunteer work, donations, whatever it is, because you need help. You need their support in the community.
I mean, if you've ever been to a game at Smith Station, the place is absolutely rocking.
Yeah,
So, I would
electric.
say, keep doing what you're doing, and we're going to get behind that energy, and your energy is going to help us win games. But keep up. I just say keep up the energy. That part is good. I mean, the band, the cheerleaders, the fans, all the administration.
You got to see it firsthand last year.
Absolutely.
With Shaw
and my jaw was dropped.
Right.
I mean, honestly, it was unbelievable. And I talked to during the interview process, the principal. I was telling him how impressed I was. He said, "Hey, we were sold out week 9." Because we were 0-9 and we were 0-8 and we were sold out. So I mean, if that doesn't tell you something as a coach, I mean, you want to be a part of that. You know what I'm saying? So I just got to get us going, and everything will take care of itself.
His name is Blair Harrison. He's the new head coach of Smith Station High School, and we will have him on tomorrow on the Sports Visions Morning Show at 7:30 to talk about this and more. Coach, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Appreciate
and look forward to getting you and broadcasting your games, hopefully getting that Smith Station shawl at the beginning of the season. Well, thank y'all so much for watching. We'll literally see you in about 30 minutes at the Columbus Lions press conference. We just keep rocking along, man, here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Georgia Alabama Sports Live will be your go-to for all your favorite high school and collegiate games this fall. From the Carver Tigers to the Columbus Blue Devils, the Harris County Tigers and Northside Patriots, the Glenwood Gators and Calvary Christian Knights, the Pacelli Vikings and Brookstone Cougars, to the Smith Station Panthers and Russell County Warriors, from CVCC, Pirates basketball and baseball, and every tournament from here to Macon. We are the #1 destination for anything happening in East Alabama and West Central Georgia. Be sure to like and follow us on YouTube and Facebook, and stay tuned for even more amazing ways we will be bringing Georgia-Alabama sports live to you this upcoming season. We can't wait to come see you next.